The master had just been fired. When the apprentice took the parts he left behind to participate in a test, the high-precision parts, immediately made the partner company place an extra order for 5,000 pieces. But hearing the news, the apprentice looked extremely grim. Meanwhile, the boss was thrilled, praising the apprentice as the factory's hero. But what they didn't know was that the apprentice's current skills were nowhere near enough to produce high-precision parts. If they failed to deliver in a month, not only would the apprentice lose his job, the whole factory would go bankrupt. Desperate, the apprentice went to find the master. But as soon as he opened his mouth, he blamed the master for the problems after leaving, and demanded he return to fix everything. The smart master already knew the whole story. Remembering how ruthlessly the apprentice had driven him out, he turned around without a second thought and left. Seeing the master's disdain, the apprentice immediately used his father's connections to blacklist him. As a result, the master failed every job interview he attended. When the rich lady saw the master, she hurried over to ask about the interviews. The master just gave a bitter smile and said he failed them all. The rich lady immediately thought of the many companies desperate for talents like him. But the master explained someone had put in a word to block him everywhere. Hearing this, the rich lady instantly guessed it was the apprentice's father. Just then the apprentice called, demanding the master return and solve the problem, or else go sweep the streets for a living. But the master remained fearless, and bluntly accused the apprentice of sabotaging his own father. The apprentice was furious, threatening that the master would come back crying. But after hanging up, the master stayed calm, even smiling and sighing that the apprentice had ruined his own father. The rich lady was confused, so the master explained. All the major groups were competing fiercely in the new energy vehicle market by forcing companies to block a top engineer. The apprentice's father was offending the entire industry. When the master developed even more advanced parts, the apprentice's father would be cursed by every major group. The rich lady was dumbfounded, sighing that while others feared losing jobs, the master worried about others instead. The master proudly added that technical talents like him were extremely rare in the market. The rich lady's eyes lit up, and she urged the master to join another group, but the master shook his head, disliking the chaos inside most companies. The rich lady immediately offered to have him join her own company. The master reminded her that her group traditionally never hired outsiders, but the rich lady smiled and said she didn't want such a powerful enemy loose in the market. Hearing this, the master nodded and agreed. Meanwhile, other companies heard that the master had joined a rival company's core team, but the apprentice's boss was unconcerned, confident that the apprentice alone would be enough, unaware that the apprentice was desperately failing to produce qualified parts. Just then, the apprentice's assistant came to report that all the experiments had failed, and only the apprentice could step up now. Hearing this, the apprentice flew into a rage, and started cursing the assistant. At that moment, the factory director came by. With a cold face he asked when exactly the apprentice would surpass the master. The apprentice furiously cursed the master for being heartless, but the factory director cut him off coldly, saying he was there for results not excuses. The apprentice hurriedly promised he would succeed, and immediately started non-stop testing, until he collapsed asleep on the table. Upon waking up, he quickly had the new batch sent for testing, but the results shattered his last hope. The parts were still unqualified. Furious, the apprentice insisted his parts were fine, and even ordered mass production to speed up. Meanwhile, the master was also polishing his parts. After completing them, he immediately sent them for technical testing. During the inspection, the technicians were completely stunned by what they saw.